Alright, so what is up guys? It is your boy the Free coming back to yet another video. In today's video, it is that time. My goat, our goat, your goat. We are all excited. Yes, we. We on your what am I even saying? The goat of Two Blue Vortex code is Falcon. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some interesting developments happening in Two Blue Vortex. I know I haven't made videos in a while, but I am actually excited for what is happening because the new leaks and spoilers for the next chapter are finally out. And with that said, I'm not gonna lie, I would have normally waited for the chapter to come out, but with the leaks that we've finally seen, I just cannot sit down and keep quiet without talking about the interesting events that have happened, particularly towards the end of the leaks, that actually take a look at what is going to be happening in the chapter that comes after this one that should be coming out in the next week as of the recording of this video. And so in today's video, we're going to be talking about Code because towards the end of the leaks, it actually is revealed to us that Code is finally back in the manga. I think he's been away from the manga for like probably close to a year, if not more than a year. He has not been here for a while. The last time we saw Code in the manga, he absolutely got mollywopped by Jura, because he was talking about oh, I'm the GOAT. You guys think you're the GOAT, you guys think you guys are the main characters. I'm the MC here. And, he's just yapping and talking a whole bunch of crap until we see one of the Shinju clones easily rip off his arm. He literally lost an arm. Fraud allegations. And this man has been on fraud allegations for many years. When Code was first introduced, we thought he was going to be one of the big bads of the show. I remember first seeing him in the manga where he was talking about how he could easily beat Naruto and Sasuke in his prime. And lo and behold, when he finally unleashes his true power as Amado unlocks his limiters and then he gets his full power, things just keep going for the worst for this character. He gets absolutely destroyed by Damon in their first encounter, and he ends up having to escape, which breaks the alliance between him, Ada, and Damon. And then obviously you have Two Blue Vortex chapters 1 to 3, where Boruto absolutely beats the crap out of Code. It's actually not even close. And so ever since Code basically disappeared after the appearance of the Shinju clones, we've always kind of just, we've always just assumed that he's probably planning something behind the sidelines, and we've pretty much not really forgotten about him. But I will say it is actually sad that this man is pretty much the potential man of the show besides Damon. I would say Damon is probably another potential man, but I wouldn't say he's a fraud because he actually puts his work to use. It's just, because of how much they hype up Damon, it's like he kind of is a potential man. But with Code, he is indeed the fraud of the entire Boruto franchise, and it is not even close. So with that said, let's get straight to the leaks. I'm not going to be covering all of them, but I am going to be, like I said, talking about the interesting part of these leaks because I'm not really a fan of giving out leaks, because for one, I can't share the pages because obviously I don't want to get copyright strike because the chapter's not out yet. So definitely stay subscribed for the chapter review. It should be coming out around the time the chapter comes out. Definitely hit that noti bell. But without further ado, if you want to see more content like this, because I make Boruto content, I love Boruto content, anything anime manga related, you want to see more content like this, definitely hit that subscribe button. But let's get straight to it. Alright, so I think just for a bit of recap, you guys have to remember that at the end of this previous chapter, which was 32, remember that things were kind of going bad for Konoha. Mamushi finally came with all of his clones. They brought him towards Ada, and now all of the shinobi are trying to take out as many clones as possible. But things seems to be going to the absolute worst, because we see Sarada literally blow her eye, and now she's unconscious. And then you also have Kawaki, who literally is out of gas, and basically everything is turning to smithereens right now because everyone is just trying to scramble. Ada is fighting for her life in these leaks. It's actually insane. But one of the most interesting developments as well is my GOAT Inojin. I'm switching Yes, we are switching up on the fraud himself, Inojin. I've never really had anything against Inojin, but I kind of never really liked him because I just thought he was a bum, and maybe I do hate him, but I don't hate him like I hate Code or I hate anyone, and I don't even think he's a bad character. One of the things that I praise about Two Blue Vortex so many times, I will always say this every single time, is that this show this manga has so much attention to detail when it comes to side characters, be it the female cast, be it the side characters in general. I love how they give them a lot of representation. And I said this as a hot take video. I think they give a lot of representation to the side characters more than the Naruto franchise itself. You have characters that actually play a role in actually doing something that actually progresses the plot and actually brings major complications for the future of the plot. And so here we see Inojin joining the battlefield as he is summoned. He's basically reverse summoned into the battlefield by Kashin Koji. And basically, the gist of it here is we see him using his mind transmission jutsu onto one of the clones, and he basically destroys all the eyes of the Mamushi clones, and they're effectively destroyed. And we just see all of them, disappearing. Now, obviously, there's a lot more details to this. I'm pretty sure as we wait for the actual official translations, I'll definitely be looking into, a lot more additional information. Like I'm saying, I'm just like talking about the interesting things about this. But like I said, why I'm really interested about this is just how insane that Inojin, a side character, is actually the one to potentially be ending this arc. Do you know how crazy that is? And it makes sense because, now that I look back, at the beginning of this arc, you kind of have that part where Inojin comes from, Himari's home. He's giving her some honey, and they talk about how, he really has an attachment towards her and he wants to protect her. He'll do anything to protect her, as crazy as that sounds. And so the arc kind of starting with Inojin and ending it off with him. When I look back, everything makes sense. Even if he's not necessarily my favorite character, everything makes sense. This is what makes me love a character a lot more, and love the writing a lot more. And I think this is just absolutely insane that this is actually happening. But towards the end of the chapter, I think it basically confirms that Mamushi is probably done because we see Boruto collect the thorn soul bulb of Mamushi, which is the same thing that happened when Boruto took down the previous clones. We're talking about Ryu, and we're also talking about, what's her name again? I low-key forgot her name. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm actually ashamed. But yeah, basically with these thorn soul bulbs finally collected, we see Boruto taking Mamushi's thorn soul bulb, and basically he is going to wake our goat, who we haven't seen in years. He's gonna wake Bug up. I wonder what this could mean. Now, obviously, towards the end of the chapter, we see Code behind. We see him using one of his belts, and we see an eye. It's Code's eye, and we can tell that he's plainly observing the field. Now, I'm very interested to see what's gonna happen here, because multiple things could happen in chapter 34. Because again, this happens towards the end of the chapter. So we could potentially be seeing a Boruto and Kagi versus Code fight here. Or we could be potentially seeing a very smart play from Code, because I feel like a lot of the decisions he's been making have been very dumb. He's just been jumping straight into fights without really thinking. That's basically what happened when he fought Boruto for the first time into Blue Vortex. And I do think that this time, you have to assume he's actually coming in with an actually high IQ plan. He's probably planning something besides an actual fight. But I don't know. And like I said, I've actually made so many videos, just talking about Code and how he's a fraud. I made a video talking about how Boruto and Kagi versus Code is not even close. And so if you want to see that video, definitely check it out. But basically the gist of it was, I was talking about basically how I think because of Boruto and Kawaki's power gap, not only that, but back then when I made that video, this was before Kawaki got an insane power upgrade from Amado. So now that he's been upgraded to the max and he's out there doing numbers, he was able to put up a fight against Boruto to beat Juro. Now obviously he didn't win, but they were able to fend off against Juro and he escaped. I think the fight is a lot higher. Knowing Code, I think he has sort of a similar mentality when it comes to Kawaki, when it comes to training. I don't think he's going to be like, I'm going to train, because we've seen that training as a shinobi does actually take a lot of time. I wouldn't say Code really fits that criteria. Maybe he'd be like, I want to get stronger through tech. But then again, Amado was the only one who knows how to do this stuff, and Amado's been in the village. So it'd be technically almost impossible to do so. And so that's why I'm saying, I think because the tables have turned as to how strong these characters are. Boruto Now he can use his karma now. And you finally have Kawaki being as strong. And you sit there and you're like, there's no way Code is fighting Boruto and Kawaki. It's just not happening. And so we could see some crazy plot twist. I think that is potentially going to happen in chapter 34. But I just could not, sit down without talking about these two major events. Obviously, I'm going to be covering a full breakdown of the chapter and an actual full thoughts, what I really think of the chapter. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you've seen the leaks, definitely let me know what you guys think. And definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. But without further ado, it's been a video from me, the Fruit, and I will see you for chapter 33. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Without that, I'll see you next time. Peace.